Good evening, everybody. Madam Roy back once again. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Um, yeah, you guys probably wonder where the heck have I been? I think it's probably been 4 or 5 days since my last video. Yeah, it's been 5 days because it was the New Year's Eve live stream. I hope you guys kind of like the name I chose for this. I was just playing around. I just want to put something there that would bring everybody in, hopefully. First, let me say I'm doing just fine. The main reason I haven't been putting out that many videos is number one, the weather's been really nasty, and I just haven't really had the motivation to do anything. And two, we've had a lot of people. We had my godparents come down for the New Year's. We've had other people coming in and out of the house. So it's just really been very difficult to pretty much get anything done this time of year. I hope a lot of you have seen the air fryer pizza video that I did. I was pretty happy with the way that came out. The very last part of me eating it was out of focus, and that's just because I'm using the Nikon D5500, the DSLR, and I don't have an external mic, so I have to keep everything on manual focus, and it's very hard to constantly refocus for each frame of video, or not each frame, but for each segment of video that I do. So you'll have to bear with me. As soon as I can afford to get an external mic for that, the video should be a little bit better. But nevertheless, I am pretty happy how that video came out for the most part. And if you guys have an air fryer, I totally recommend trying it. It's one of the easiest recipes. I mean, I literally got the dough, or I should say the crust from Target, because it was already cooked. You pretty much put your cheese, then your marinara or pizza sauce, and then your cheese on top of that. Kind of make a pizza, a sandwich for the sauce. Then you put whatever toppings you want. You throw it into the air fryer, and it's at 400 degrees for between 6 and 8 minutes. It's going to depend on your air fryer, but for mine, it wound up being about 7 minutes was the sweet spot. Ruben says, I've earned a like. Thank you very much. Ruben got a new phone, a Moto E5. Yeah, I remember you were telling me you're having issues with your other one. Good phones. Nothing bad to say about them. John Doe, yes, John, I know you want thrift store hauls, and I've addressed that in the other videos, and I said that the main problem right now is just not only going to thrift stores with the bad weather, but also the thrift stores are totally cleaned out from the holidays. They really haven't put anything out. But I do have a few items that I picked up over the last day from the thrift stores. Nothing super crazy, but I will go ahead and show them to you real quick. Number one are these two Maxell UR60 blank cassettes. These are type 1 cassettes, so normal position. It says Tintel oval window cassette shell. These are from the early 90s. I think these date from 1991. And I actually liked this generation of the Maxell UR tapes. Again, I think these they had made from around 1991 to like 1994. The reason I know these particular ones are from 1991 was the actual case. Now, these came in the original 2-pack case, but the actual plastic was all disintegrated, was falling apart, so I decided just to take them out. And I'm glad I did, because behind one of the tapes was this. This is really cool, and this actually helped me date it too. This is copyright 1991, the Maxell Corporation. Take a look at some of the goodies on here. Check this out. Basically what this is what they call Max Awards points. And I guess every time you would get a cassette, you would place your point stickers on here. And then you would go ahead and send it in once you got enough points, and you could get different merchandise. Like if you were able to get 7,500 points, which I'm sure most people are never able to, you could have gotten yourself a bona fide CD boombox, and this was a Sony brand. Or for 150 points, you could get a Maxell XL2 chromium tape. They had other things here like Maxell T-shirts. discs, though. It's funny, these look like they're CDRs, but I'm sure looking at the time they weren't. They were probably just pre-recorded CDs you could get. Those were 500 points. And yep, I see it now. CDs are pre-recorded cassettes. They even had a Max Awards sports bag you could get for 500 points. So isn't that pretty cool? I might do a photostatic copy and use this for another video, but I just found that really, really interesting. Next, a little more interesting than that, at our local thrift store, I picked this up for, I think I paid $5 for it. Good old TI-83 Plus. Kind of outdated now, but it still works. Believe it or not, these still sell very well online. I should be able to get $30 to $40 for this. Probably going to have to hold on to it until school, because right now the kids are not going back to school. Probably hold on to this till May or June, and I'll be able to get at least $30 or $40 for it. It'll either be bought by somebody going back to high school or somebody going to college, but probably a high schooler more likely, because the college classes now, most of them are requiring at least a TI-84 or even a TI-89, I think it is. I-386 is in Georgia. You can fry anything in the air in the summer. I don't doubt it. I remember going down to Atlanta, Georgia in the middle of summer, and this was back in the mid-90s, and I could barely stand being there. I mean, I literally had to be in the air conditioner most of the time. I totally agree. Ruben says, I love editing on my HP Compact Elite 8300 Ultra Small USDT. I can't remember exactly what it stands for. Ran flawlessly. Windows Movie Maker ran fine with no issues. I can imagine, for being a ultra small desktop, I think that's what it stands for. That's a really solid computer. Max Petrak questions, so with a Dell about 9 months old, it's starting to have battery and SSD issues. Is this normal for a new one or new system? No. It almost sounds like you got a lemon. I mean, I can understand the battery, because laptop batteries, they'll go bad after a few months if you don't treat them right. The SSD, that's really odd. The only thing I can think of is maybe you're writing and rewriting a lot of data to it. That 9 months, that should be under warranty. I'd send that back out. I definitely get those things replaced under warranty. And if you get them replaced under warranty, I think it's like the third time you have a problem, at least here in Virginia, they have what's called the lemon law. So you'll be able to probably get the whole thing replaced. Probably Sanyo battery. I have no idea, but I've seen a lot of batteries go bad. Eric Brunhammer says, I have a habit of never running my laptops on battery, so that tends to kill them. The best thing you can do, if you don't use your batteries a lot, what you do is you charge the battery up 100% and pull the battery out and just keep it in the case. And then let's say maybe in the next couple of days you're going to need to run it on battery. Then you go ahead and put the battery back in, charge it up. Maybe you're going on a trip, take it on the trip, use it, and when you get back home, you do the same thing. Charge the battery up 100%, take it out of the laptop, and put it away. Believe it or not, that will actually make your battery last longer. And last but not least, I have one more item. This was not a thrift store find. This was actually something I got from Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree lately has been getting a lot of Blu-rays and DVDs in. Got a copy of Moonwalkers with Ron Perlman and Rupert Grint. Haven't actually seen this movie. I heard it was so-so. Says based on a true conspiracy theory. Says after failing to locate the legendary Stanley Kubrick, an unstable CIA agent, Ron Perlman, must instead team up with a seedy rock band manager, Rupert Grint, or Ron Weasley, to develop the biggest con of all time, staging the moon landing. So it'll be interesting to see that. And for $1, heck, you can't go wrong there. Andrea Mallory says, "Hello, pizza guy. How's it going?" Doing just fine. I'm assume that means you've seen that pizza video I did, and I'm going to do another one of those probably for lunch maybe next week because honestly, it's not that bad calorie wise. I don't put meat on mine. I do have the cheese, which has some fat in it, but I'm using the low calorie crusts. Sauce doesn't have that much fat. And on mine, I use now my favorite pizza is mushroom and onion. And that's exactly what I did. I showed the pepperoni just because I knew mom and dad were going to want that on their pizza. But on mine, it's just mushroom and onion. And that is my absolute favorite pizza. Sorry about that. My nose is really itchy tonight. I'm must be itching for a fight. Isn't that what they say? If your nose is itchy, you're itching for a fight. Eric Brunhammer said, I should see if mine has a Blu-ray of Black Dynamite. I think they did. I remember seeing that title, at least in one of my Dollar Trees. Ruben asks, hey, Matt, how can I make pizza using some everyday ingredients? Just follow my recipe. I mean, you don't necessarily have to use the air fryer to cook the pizza like I did. If you don't have an air fryer, you can use a toaster oven or even a conventional oven. Just remember, it'll take longer. Whereas I cook mine at 400 degrees for about 6 or 7 minutes. In a conventional oven, that might take 20 or 25 minutes. I personally just get the pizza sauce, as you saw in there, some crust, whatever crust you want. You can get the little 6-inch or the 12-inch full-size crusts. I like the 6-inch because it makes it a personal pan pizza. And then just get shredded cheese. I use mozzarella and sharp cheddar, but you can use like Colby Jack. Munster cheese is another great option. And I usually recommend mixing it with mozzarella cheese. Tastes really good. But remember, the best thing to do is to put the cheese on first and then the sauce on top. That way the cheese doesn't burn. And you absolutely have to do that in the air fryer because if you put the cheese on top, it'll just turn into like one giant, big brown burnt brick and it'll taste terrible. You can bake Hot Pockets. Okay. Well, maybe branch out a little bit from there. Hot Pockets aren't the best things for you nutritionally. But yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, if you start there, just watch my video how I made that air fryer pizza. You should be able to do it. Flips May says hello. Hey Flips, how you doing? So we got 20 watchers and 7 likes. It was very interesting. I was watching a video online. It's by Star Beast Rave, and it's 20 things customers shouldn't do. And a lot of it is self-explanatory, but they said one of the worst things you can do as a customer in any retail environment is to decide you don't want something and not put it back. Like they had showed pictures of somebody putting a banana in with the gum, like at the checkout lines. And that makes a lot of work for the people at the end of the night, because at the end of the night, people have to put all that stuff back. And that's like one of the worst things you can do. And I've worked retail before. When I worked at Best Buy, not only did we have to put product back, we also had to vacuum and sweep up. So if you're going into any store, I'm going to add something to what they said, and it's raining outside or it's autumn and there are leaves everywhere, just take a minute and wipe your feet on the mat outside, because if you bring all that stuff in, it takes a lot longer to have to clean up at the end of the night. And yes, when you work in retail like that, I don't care what you do. I worked in the Geek Squad. We each of our sections had one night that we had to clean the store, and Fridays was Geek Squad's night, and it was nice that we took turns. It's so basically one person doesn't have to do it every night, but I mean, we had to clean the store pretty much top to bottom. We had to dust the shelves, we had to vacuum, and that took a lot of time, honestly. Flips May says, my tobacco plant is growing well. I made homemade organic pest killer. Very interesting. You have to tell me more about that sometimes. I'm not really up on tobacco production. I-386 says we put things back during the day. Yeah, we used to try to do that too, but you got to remember, especially when I worked at Best Buy, late at night, that was our rush, like an hour before we closed. And we had no choice but to do it at the end of the night at that point. And usually that's when a lot of the people that would leave the stuff where it shouldn't be, that's when they would do it, is like between 7 and 8 at night. Eric Brunhammer says, I've seen D heads leave cold stuff like freezer ham in the non-cold section of the store in places like Walmart. Yeah, I've seen that too. And unfortunately, usually they have no choice but to throw it away, because even if it's still semi-frozen, you can't refreeze that. That is a health risk. You can actually make somebody sick if you refreeze something that is supposed to stay frozen. So yeah, most of the time that's lost, and that has to be written off on the insurance claim, and that makes other insurance rates go up, and it's not a good thing. People are just not very considerate, unfortunately. Michael Garner says, brother is in the hospital. Well, we pray for your brother. Whatever he has, we pray in Jesus' name that he gets healed. Right. Eric 386 says, would you be surprised at what we find? I bet I wouldn't. Nothing surprised me. Again, I've worked retail. Somebody's trying to get a hold of me here. Give me just one sec. Okay, got it. All right, what else we got here? Yes, it does, Michael Gardner. Retail does suck sometimes. Most of the time, let's say. It's supposed to be that step-up job from college to your ultimate career. Most people do not make a career out of retail because, like you said, it's just a terrible job. It really is, no matter what you do. Food service being the worst. And I've worked a lot of food service over the years. Flips May says, my aunt works at Walmart. She receives discounts on certain products. Yeah, that can be nice. I mean, when I worked at Best Buy, we got like a 10% discount. And no, I take it back. Most of the time we got a 10% discount, but it actually depended on the products. We would get like 10% off. How did that work? 10% more than the cost. So basically, if a product costs Best Buy a certain amount, as employees, we'd have to pay 10% more. And it actually worked really well, especially with their house brand stuff, like the Insignia or the Dynex brand, because their house brand stuff, they didn't pay much for. So you'd be surprised at what the markup on some of that stuff is. I'm not going to get into any specifics, but suffice to say, like a USB cable that would cost the normal consumer $20 or $25, we might have to pay $2 for. So yeah, you could see how much they mark up the accessories there. And I'm sure it's the same in most stores. Their house brand stuff is where they make the big bucks. Stephen Barber says, I seen your video you post. OMG, you're looking good. You're doing a good job, Matt. Keep up what you're doing. I assume you mean on the weight loss. And yes, it's been going very well. I was really surprised over the holiday season. I didn't gain any weight. I've actually managed to lose some weight. I don't know exactly how much I weigh because I haven't gotten on the scale. I can just tell by the way my clothes fit. But I'm probably around the 230 to 235 range, somewhere around there. And I'm okay with that. You know what? I have a whole other year to get to my goal weight. I figure, well, about 10 months. If I can get down to 220 by September, that'll be 2 years that it took me to get to my ultimate goal weight. And I think that's a good success in my book. I-36, my niece just had a baby girl about an hour ago. My parents went up about 60 miles. I plan to go tomorrow. I've been sick this week, so might not be able to hold the baby. Well, that's unfortunate. You know, this time of year, we're all kind of getting sick. I've still been fighting an ear infection. It's becoming more of a chronic thing. I'll probably have to go to the doctor for that once I get my new insurance card. But congratulations. It's so nice. I mean, I really hope one day to have a child of my own. I just got to find a significant other first. So, anybody interested out there, single 35-year-old male, no waiting. Eric said, I know it isn't super amazing, but I broke 50,000 in 2018. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Hey, we all do what we have to do. That's the thing. Flips May says, last night I won $200 with online poker and I'm just a beginner. Wow. Yeah, I've played poker a few times in my life, but because obsessive compulsive and basically compulsive behavior in general tends to run my family, I really shun away from gambling of any type. Really, the biggest gambling I ever did when I was younger, we used to play bingo. When a lot of the campgrounds had bingo, and I actually found that fun. I thought it was really relaxing. Yes, Eric, I saw your post. Congratulations, buddy, on the weight loss. I think he's lost about 5 pounds. Yeah, 5.2 pounds since the 31st. It'll come off quick in the beginning. Don't get discouraged because you will plateau. You'll get to the point where you've lost all the water weight and you'll plateau and maybe some fat as well. The thing is, you have to work past that. So you might stay at the same weight for a week or two, and then you'll start going down again. Pretty much weight loss is like a step ladder. It's kind of like that. You'll get there, buddy, though. Don't fret. I don't know much about the smartwatches. I really couldn't tell you. I don't wear them. I can't wear watches. So we got 19 watchers and 7 likes. Awesome. Come on, hit that like button. Help me out a little bit. All right. There was something else I wanted. Let me go into the comment section here. Eric says, right now, I can't say I have a goal weight, specifically goal weight in quotation marks, but I want to be under 300 pounds by April 1st. That can be done. It's going to be tricky, but you can do it. Give up that sugary tea if you can. That is the worst stuff for you. I've tried to give up all sugary drinks now. I did have some eggnog over the holiday season, probably a little more than I should have, but it's so good. That's one of my favorites. I like this name, Apple Bottom's Glory, and this is in response to my super delicious air fryer pizza. Says, I hope it's still going. I hope it's still going strong with your fitness and healthy diet. Well, yes, it is. As a matter of fact, I'll probably message her real quick about that. Yes, I'm still on track with my diet. That's why I didn't use any meat on the pizza. I use some capital letters there too. Flips May prefers a standard Casio watch. Calculator watch or just the regular one? Either way, they're pretty sturdy. Again, my problem is I have poor circulation in my arms due to an injury that actually was due to a bacterial infection that I had years ago. So I can't wear anything around my wrist. I can't wear bracelets. I can't wear rings, anything like that. As a matter of fact, my high school ring is up there in my wall unit. Hardly ever wear it, maybe once or twice to special occasions. Stephen Barber says, as a diabetic, I don't follow the rules, and that's why my sugar is so high. I still drink regular pop. Yeah, you got to try to give that up, especially as a diabetic. I think, I don't remember if you said you were type 1 or type 2, but that the basic sugar, like the kind of sugar, the granulated refined sugar that you find in those kind of drinks is the worst type. And a lot of them still have the high fructose corn syrup, and that's even worse than refined sugar because that acts on your body by raising your blood sugar through the roof because your body just really wasn't designed to process the high fructose corn syrup. What I would suggest is you don't even have to give up sugary drinks. Just try to find ones that use pure cane sugar. I mean, you can get Pepsi, the old school Pepsi with pure cane sugar, same with a Coke. Start with that and then work down to something like Pepsi Max or Coke Zero. And if you can do that, baby steps, that'll help dramatically improve your blood sugar numbers. Eric says, I haven't had soda or tea since 2 days after Christmas. That is awesome. Also, Stephen Barber, if you're a coffee drinker or anything like that, you can also get something called Sugar in the Raw. Dollar Tree actually has them. Right now, they come in little packets, and it's pure cane sugar. Again, much better for your body than the high fructose corn syrup. Ruben's still learning features on his phone. It'll take you a while. I still don't know everything on my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. I386 says, my Android phone acts crazy. Alarm will not go off all times I set it to. Mine does that sometimes too. I'm not sure what's wrong. It's an App Extreme Alarm Clock Pro. My main phone is an iPhone. The Android is not activated. You can try resetting it. If you're not using the Android phone actively, I would do like a factory reset on it. You can also do a hard reboot. Usually to do that on most Android phones, you hold down the power button and either the volume up or volume down for about 10 seconds, and it'll reboot the phone, and that'll usually fix a lot of the problems. I have to do that with my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus maybe once or twice a week, actually. It's pretty annoying, but it does work usually. Eric Brunhammer says, uh-oh, I see it coming right now. Saying I haven't had tea is a stretch since I'm drinking 2 to 4 cups of straight black tea with no additives per day. That's all right. If you need to get that caffeine to get your body going and make it through the day, that's fine. But cutting back on the sugar is the best thing, and that's exactly what you're doing. Nice. Ruben's going to have a free egg, pancake, and sausage breakfast at church. Our church does that once in a while, and it's been a long time since I've been to their breakfast. I think probably 4 or 5 years, mainly because on Saturdays I usually go out. I usually go out with the car guys for breakfast. I might have to think about that one time. Our church had pretty good breakfasts. It was funny. Gunther 8544. I know he's not here, but I'm going to read this. He says, for the super delicious air fryer pizza video, he said, good idea for the future lunch. I'll reduce the mushrooms by half and add green peppers. And that's really good too. I love green peppers, and we actually had some cut up in the refrigerator, believe it or not, but I shouldn't want to put too much on there. And actually, I should have showed you Dad's. Dad actually piled a whole bunch of pepperoni, onions, mushrooms on it. And the way he did the pepperoni, instead of putting it flat on the pizza like he should have, he angled it up and he actually put it in a ring. And what happened is the pepperoni just fell off. And I knew it was going to do that. And I told him it was going to do that, but he didn't believe me. But it was okay. We just took the pizza out and we pulled off the pepperoni that had fallen off into the basket, put it back on the. I can't do coffee like that, though. I have to have half and half in my coffee. I386 says, my dad is gone. I could take a look at his laptop. A key popped off. You have to be very careful with laptop keys. When the keys on the keyboards pop off, sometimes it's not as easy as just popping them back on. A lot of times they have a rail that it sits on, and what tends to happen is one of the clips on each end of the rail will break. So just be really careful. Most laptops replacement keyboards are really cheap. You're better off just buying a new keyboard online. And at the end of the day, it's a lot cheaper and it's a lot less of a headache than having to try to and fix a key back on, especially if the clip is broken. So good. All right, tubers, 30 minutes in, 18 watchers. It's funny, the counter goes back and forth once in a while, so I think we might be a little bit further than 30 minutes. Eric Brunhammer says, when I get a new laptop, I'm going to miss the keyboard on this Elite book. It's probably the best keyboard I've ever had on a laptop. I have to agree. As Eric knows, I have an HP ProBook, which basically uses the same keyboard. Great keyboards, very solid keys, nice travel on it. It actually types more like a desktop keyboard than a laptop keyboard, honestly. And with that, tubers, I am going to end this live stream because I am getting very tired. We had about 20 watchers at once. Please continue to like and subscribe. Definitely going to have some very interesting content coming in the future. May take a little while, especially now that we're getting into winter time officially here. Videos are going to be a little bit slower, but I will still try to give you guys good content. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.